What up, fam? Welcome to the Paro Palette. This is your host Rudy, and thanks again for watching another video with me. I know in previous videos I was using a lot of text, but I was finding it was getting really difficult to express, my thoughts. So this time I'm trying to do the voiceover. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, for first part of the blocking the Tiamat heads, I wanted to try to use this AK Camouflage elastic putty for the airbrush. I've heard some good things about it. Especially when I'm dealing with a model that's already been put together, but I'm having trouble, dealing with all the colors or different colors on it. I noticed while using it's incredibly elastic and strong, but it's a little bit unyieldy to use at first because I was having a lot of difficult times to try to conform to the shape. But that's also the advantage of it, because you can actually just shape it to anything that you want to, especially on a complex model like this. Yeah, so for this model, I really wanted to break it up into pieces. So first I just wanted to mask and then paint the green and blue parts, which is essentially the top parts of the Tiamat model, before I broke it down. And you see here, the mask is incredibly pliable. You can use some of these rubber clay shapers to really get into the nooks and crannies, which is what I really liked about the model. So the first step, we're going to do the green blocking, or essentially painting the green head of the Tiamat model. I decided to use the Citadel Warp Lightning first, because as a contrast paint, I knew it was going to do pretty good coverage or perform very well under the airbrush. And my biggest concern was those little red areas where I airbrushed the red before, how was it going to cover? So I really just wanted to focus on here. Let's take a look at what this Warp Lightning contrast paint does to cover the model. I was also trying to be careful on trying not to get too much overspray onto the rest of the Tiamat model. I knew the masking was going to do the job, but like I said, I'm really still new at airbrushing, so I was just trying to see, hey, can I get good coverage on the model without doing too much extra paint onto the rest of the model. So as I was concluding the first pass of the warp lining, I just wanted, to take a break, stop, take a look at the work, and evaluate the whole piece. And it looked pretty good for a first pass. I did notice, obviously I dripped a little bit of the green warp lining onto the white Tiamat head, so I knew I was gonna have to deal with that a little bit later. But after the first and second pass, it looked pretty good. I was pretty happy about the overall coverage. I believe this was 2 passes of the warp lining, so yeah, I was pretty happy with it. So after I did that second pass of that warp lining, I actually wanted to try to do some highlights with the airbrush, and this time I actually used the De La Roni olive green, and it's obviously has a little bit more brown in it, but I was hoping to actually add some really decent highlights in it. It's difficult to see in some of these shots, but in person I was actually impressed how even as opaque as the De La Roni olive green was looking, it was still bringing up some pretty decent highlights. I was pretty happy about that. So after I did this second pass with the highlight, I was pretty excited. It was, really preparing to do the masking and prep the other head, the blue head of the Tiamat. And then while waiting a couple hours putting on the mask, I ran into some really funny footage of the AK elastic putty. So obviously it's malleable and conforming to the shape, but if you let it sit for a while, it actually starts, gravity starts doing the work. So it looked kind of weird. I wasn't sure if it was gonna come off, so I spent a few minutes just trying to make sure the masking would actually come off, and thankfully it's grease free, there's no residue. So as difficult it was to take off the mask, there really wasn't any damage to the model, so I was very happy about that. So now that I was able to reshape the elastic putty, it was now time to deal with the blues, which I was a little bit nervous about, because you can see here it's a hue and not necessarily an opaque color. So I was curious to find out how the airbrush was going to use it, because these De La Roni inks or any of these inks are amazing with the airbrush, but I'm always concerned about coverage. And with my inexperience of using these inks and the airbrush, I was kind of nervous about the challenge of how was it going to cover, what techniques would I have to use, would I have to spend longer. And I found out using the airbrush, it's pretty easy once you get everything set up, and try to get past the initial mixing mistakes. It's just a matter of hey, when you're covering this model, what coverage do you want? So I believe in this case here, I was just trying to do a couple passes, but you can see here just like the first pass always looks a bit awkward, and I was just kind of nervous, like, hey, am I doing this right? Especially like how it's touching the red pieces, the overspray from the previous paint. I was like really worried, like, hey, is this going to work? But I was told, like, hey, just push through, work with the color, have fun with it. It's it's a painting miniature. You're still a novice of it, so just enjoy the process. So that's what I really wanted to do as I was enjoying the process of the night. And obviously, even though I was enjoying the process, I'm still struggling with trying to maneuver the model in my spray booth, as you see me here, laughing at myself or struggling with it. But it's still having a really, really good time. I did want to make a really quick point about the ease of the mask removal or the elastic putty. Again, I said there's grease-free, there's no residue, so even though it was pretty easy to take off, I did find it a little bit difficult at times because I was realizing, hey, I'm going to have to do this 3, 4, 5 more times for each head of the Tiamat dragon. So I was like, okay, I need a decision to make. Do I go on and do the other models using the airbrush, or do I want to try a different technique, which is my traditional method, where I'm actually using my paintbrush to do that? So that's one I needed to think about after that first night. And here you can see the results of the first 1 or 2 nights. To be honest, I don't remember if that was over a 2-night period, but I was really relatively happy of like the overall look of the model. I was pretty excited about it. And when I mean relatively happy, I'm referring not to the paint or the model, I'm referring to my skill in using the airbrush and the paints, which leads me to this next section, which is blocking white. As you can see here, I was using the warp lining and it spilled over to the side of the model. So I was like, okay, what do I need to do to paint over it? So what I first did is I actually used a White Scar airbrush paint because I want to go on light. I was going to try to do the classic 2 thin coats by Duncan Rhodes and to see, hey, what does 2 thin coats do with the airbrush White Scar? As you can see here, it looks pretty good, but I decided for the second pass I was going to use some Pro Acro Bold Titanium White for the next pass, which you'll see a little bit later in the video. And up next is the blocking black. As you can see, I ended up using the contrast paint Black Legion. I also had a Black Templar and Basilicum Gray, and I was kind of concerned, like, hey, what type of coverage am I going to get with each one of these black contrast paints? And what I discovered, at least on some practice models, which I didn't show here, Basilicum Gray is more like for shading or putting recessed paint and colors to, like, let's say gunmetal or metal pieces. Whereas Black Templar, from what I've seen, it doesn't quite give as much coverage as the Black Legion. I think it might be good for like shading between the black and the red model that you see here in this Tiamat model. But for the initial 1 or 2 layers of paint for coverage of the black head of the Tiamat, I really wanted to use Black Legion. And I thought that really offered some really great coverage. And for like the last section of like my paint session during the weekend, I just wanted to repaint some of the original Tiamat model red. Obviously, I'm trying to paint some of the edges in between where the blue or white or black or green colors of the Tiamat head reach. I was also trying to inspect the model. I was like, hey, which pieces do I need to redo because the airbrush really couldn't see it, and I kind of want a little bit of a sharper than line rather than a gradient. So I was just trying to make this first pass of taking a look at the models, and it's like, hey, which pieces really need some extra touch-up work? And with a model as robust and large as this Tiamat model, I did not want to spend like the entire weekend just painting red. So I thought it was best to try to break up certain sections into pieces, so that way I'm trying to keep my creative energy fresh. Up next, you're actually going to see my attempt at doing some like blending. I'm using here Flesh Tear's red contrast paint with a little bit of the contrast medium, and this is for the connecting the blue, the white, the red, the green, all together as in the model. And again, it's my first steps of blending, trying to mix up the paint, and I just wanted to see how the initial application was going to work. It wasn't great in the first pass, but again, I knew it was going to take several passes. I might actually have to use actual contrast paint and the original colors to get it to work, but this is more to try to get some of the initial blending, see how it looks for the first time. And as you can see here, this is actually the layer that I did with the Pro Aqua Bold Titanium White, but you can see there's a little bit of the red specks that I got on it. So I know I'm gonna have to take multiple passes with that Bold Titanium White. I actually wanted to show you here my video setup because I love my hobby setup. I've spent a couple of years trying to get it set up, but my video editing suite is much to be desired. As you can see here, I just have my iPhone, my Blue Yeti microphone. I don't even have a windscreen, and I'm just using my Samsung TV as a monitor. It's pretty basic, but I like it how it's set up. And now for the glorious state of incompletion. It's not a complete product yet, but I just wanted to take the time to share the progress I've made. I didn't want to put a bunch of text because I thought it was becoming more distracting than looking at the progress that I've made with the model. So I wanted to try to do this voiceover with the video editing. It was going to be a bit longer, and I just wanted to present you the process of where I'm at. Maybe comment on any mistakes I made, or just let me know, how I can improve. If you're still listening to this and watching the video, I appreciate you taking the time to do that. I know that I'm not really at the high end yet of a lot of these YouTubers, and that's not really my goal. I just want to, take the time to, document my process and just show you guys what I'm doing. And I appreciate you all for taking a look-see, and I'll see you in the next video.